Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. We have another special song for you guys today. It is D-Day, Dimash Day, and this song, Ave Maria, it is one of his songs live in concert. I'm very excited to give this song a listen to. As you all know, Dimash is one of my favorite artists, and it is entirely a pleasure listening to him. So without further ado, Ave Maria. Every time he performs, it's just something else entirely. Let's see what he does this time. He looks really young in this. Maybe it's because of his hair? His wardrobe? No, I feel like it's because of his hair. I feel like I have not seen him in this hairstyle. Maybe. That's what it looks like at least. I just saw Igor in the background. I'm assuming it's one of his compositions as well. He's someone that I believe has written a lot of Dimash's musical works, or at least has helped out with some of his works. It's so good. I have to stop it right now because we are almost 2 minutes in, and the song I'm seeing, it's entirely focused just on the From here, I do want to point out that it sounds very angelic when he does something like that. It sounds like it's spiritual in a sense, because I haven't heard a single lyric in any sort of language. You know, I feel like every song that I've listened to so far, it's always been in, Russian, English, anything. And it seems like the entire song is focused just on that tune, which makes it sound very spiritual. In that sense, it's so good. I have to stop it right there as well, because he starts in this very high head voice, and it's just, it feels very fragile in a sort of sense. I've said angelic many times, but that's the feeling that I get out of this. And as we move on with the piece, with the actual song itself, you could, I mean, he adds a sort of intensity for every single time he does the, and then when it goes more and more, it becomes not vulnerable in that sense like you hear in the beginning, but it becomes this sort of like, there's this sort of brilliance that comes along with it as well. And when he even pushes, when that intensity even goes, when the intensity even, becomes more intense, when his actual singing becomes more intense, he does not lose the tone of his voice. It's still the same, but it's just more intense. This is how it is. And it's so good. What we're focusing on here is not even the lyrics or anything like that, because obviously there is no lyrics, but you were also focusing on his body language, because that's also what gives the song sort of emotion as well, right? So it's not just the intensity of his singing, it's not the breath work, which I actually do want to talk about, but it's also his body language. And I think that's the main difference from hearing it just on Spotify than hearing it in person live. That's the biggest difference. That's insane. Yeah. Oh my. What in the world? Wow. He deserves that applause. Every single applause, every single person clapping, he deserves it all. One thing I do really want to highlight is his breath work. Now, if you have seen my classically trained react to Dimash, this is also something I talk about too, but this is actually an excellent example on breath management in general, because as you see, remember, his gets even more intense as time goes on. But when he gets more intense with it, you don't hear any sort of wavering or fluctuating in his voice. His voice still holds that same intensity. You don't even hear a single crack or anything like that when he sings. And to do that with the lungs, the set of lungs that we are given, it's absolutely unbelievable, because as humans, right, we have limited lung capacity. So we can only speak a certain amount of words before we have to take a breath, right? Now, I'm going to give you an example on what good breath work is. For example, the song, ha, 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 staying alive, ha, 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 staying alive, right? So breath work makes a very big difference. But the big difference here is that it's clean. It's crisp and it's very clean. It doesn't, for us, average people who are not as talented as he is, when you hear Dimash so many times, it sounds like it's just natural. It's easy. People should be doing this. But in reality, to do what he is doing is incredibly difficult. It takes a lot of practice, and it takes a lot of effort with your lungs. You have to train them in a specific way in order to hold notes as long and as high as he is doing it. It is simply not natural for the average person to do. Now, when he does it, it's just so effortless, and that's what he does. And as I give you the example with the Bee Gees Staying Alive, breath work does make a big difference. And the fact you can't even tell that he needs to take a breath anywhere because he does it so naturally when he's singing. And if I've said this in my past videos as well, but if you are a fan of Dimash, if you're a fan of music in general, and if you have not taken a singing lesson in your life, I would really highly recommend you do one, because it actually makes you respect these artists even more when they do things like this. For us, we take it for granted when Dimash does it, but I promise you, it is 100 times more difficult than what you're seeing. But this is another Dimash video, and this is actually probably one of my favorite songs of his. Not because, of course, every song is good, but this song really highlights his breath management and his actual opera kind of notes. There was no lyrics in this at all. It was just the entire time. And for that, for us, for me especially, it sounds, it's all I actually need to hear, because it sounds like I'm literally in heaven. And I feel like the stress that I'm hearing, my heartbeat, everything just relaxed just a little bit more, and I could go on. And the entire time, I had goosebumps. The entire time I felt those chills that you hear when you hear a very good song. And songs like this, it really speaks to you, because there has to be some sort of frequency that mimics a sort of what you would hear the angels cry when they sing. I feel like that's the kind of vibe that I get when I hear him singing Ave Maria. And it just sounds very peaceful to me. I hope it was peaceful to you guys as well when you hear it. If you enjoyed this reaction, please let me know in the comments below. As you've maybe are a little bit familiar, but I am classically trained. And for me, every time I hear Dimash, Diana Kudanova, all these artists, it really makes me look back and review what I've learned so far when I was learning classical music. And it honestly has inspired me to kind of further dive deeper, into his songs as well. But if you enjoyed this reaction, please let me know in the comments below. If you have anything else you want me to react to from your language, your country, your culture, I would absolutely love to do that. Thank you all so much for watching. We'll catch you next time.